How are you doing today? Good morning.
I'm
My
doing
name
good.
is Dr. B.
My name's Emiliano.
So-
Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good.
That's great. I'm glad to hear that. So what brings you here today?
I don't know. I just knew I had to try something different. So I am here.
Tell me more.
Well, I know that I had a problem, but I never really sought help. Now, I decided to finally do something about it.
And what's this problem and what made you seek help, especially from these resources?
I got a drinking problem. It's been going for a while now. My wife has been serious talks about splitting up with me and taking the children. Not only that, but there was a recent event that woke me up.
And what was this event?
I had an outburst in my daughter's music performance. They were serving complimentary drinks, and I had too many.
That sounds really rough. How did that make you feel? It must have been difficult to deal with on top of these other issues that you're having with your wife,
Well, I had too many drinks, like I said, and I started cheering for her. It was a little too much cheering, and I was being rude, almost aggressive to anyone who told me to quiet down. Eventually, it got to me. Too much, and then I got kicked out in front of my family and community.
I see. Anything else that you're afraid of?
Yeah, that's the thing. It doesn't just cause issues with my wife, the drinking. I lose time with kids to have some drinks with my friends, and even my friends have gotten tired of me behavior under the influence. It hasn't affected my work, thankfully, but who says it won't?
I see. So there's many issues that stem from this substance abuse, from what I'm hearing, and it includes problems with friends and family. And you're afraid that it's gonna affect your ability to provide for your family in the form of not being able to work. And so I guess my observation is that these are some serious difficulties, and I just gotta know more about what made you change. What's the wake-up call that you're talking about?
I think it was a combination of things. The combination of not just myself, but also my family and my daughter. I can't handle that. Making an ass out of myself, but putting my daughter and wife in the same position in front of hundreds of people, it just hit me. The look of the shame in her face got to me. Alcohol and all.
I see. I'm sorry to hear about that. It sounds like you got knocked down pretty hard, but you're coming from a place that's coming with a lot of motivation. It seems like you're willing to get back up.
Yeah, sort of. I don't want to leave the alcohol, but even doctors have told me to stop. And like I said, I have problems with my family and friends. I just like coming home and drinks or two, maybe some with my friends, but then again, that will leave room for spiraling.
I understand. I do think leaving alcohol can be a challenge, but it does sound like you're willing to change for the better. And I've seen many clients come in with strong motivating factors such as yourself, and they've succeeded. So now, if I may ask, have you tried leaving alcohol before?
Many times. But like I said, this was just a wake-up call. I always tried though. After major arguments with my wife, I would attempt to be sober, but I would go at it on my own thinking I would be fine by myself. I would get tempted though. Going out with my friends was important to me, and you can't just not have drinks and go with your friends, right? And then I would get comfortable with drinking again, and then it was back to square one. Everything I try that happens, it seems insurmountable.
I see. Attempting sobriety is pretty difficult, so I do understand your concern. But I also believe that with proper resources and your newfound motivation, you'll be able to accomplish whatever task you set your mind to. But what do you think? Do you feel that it will work because it's coming from you rather than an argument with your wife?
Yes, in a way, I love my wife, but it felt like I was being controlled and being told what to do. It's our own nature to go against authority, you know?
I see. I understand that being told what to do could provoke resistance. I myself am a fan of autonomy. But that being said, do you think your wife was doing it out of love?
Most definitely. My wife is amazing, and my family is very supportive of my attempts at beating my addiction. They always try to tell me to stop with the booze, but it just feels like they think they know me better than they know you. As if they weren't aware of effects it was on my health, but I know they only do it because they love me, and I'm grateful for that.
I see. So what I'm hearing is that you have an alcohol addiction, and it's been troubling you for a while. This addiction has seeped into your personal life and could potentially affect your ability to provide for your family. but you're also more motivated than ever to stop drinking because of this outburst that happened. You have the support of your family to help you through this whole process, and sounds like you're in a good position to beat it this time. Does this sound about right?
That sounds accurate. Yes. With that being said, what kind of steps do you think should be
I think
taken approach to be able to quit this alcohol abuse?
I think in order to try and figure out your alcohol abuse, well, I guess I would have to ask you that question. I want the answers to come from you, and I want you to lay out the map. What do you think will help with quitting alcohol abuse?
So what I'm hearing is that cutting alcohol completely from your life.
The one before that.
Oh, well, I know myself well enough to understand that alcohol cannot be part of my life whatsoever. No once a week, bull crap. I would tell myself before. It would have to be for good.
So what I'm hearing is that you would like to abstain from alcohol completely. And how do you think you can build off of that?
Like, what steps can I take to get there?
Exactly. Or maybe even some steps that you know could knock that you could knock out of the park if you just applied them. Something simple.
Well, I think I could try to spend more time with my children and my wife rather than going on a trip with my friends. Buying alcohol would have some stock for sure, which would be easy considering my wife isn't a heavy drinker at all.
These are some really solid ideas. Do you have any other ideas that can potentially make this challenge a little more manageable?
Well, what do you know about AA meetings? I always thought they were a waste of time, but I think I'm open to trying them out.
Well, I think I know enough about AA meetings. They generally follow a format where everybody introduces themselves, they state why they're there, they follow specific steps towards identifying their issues and overcoming them. A more experienced member should be there to guide you, and the meetings are completely confidential so you can have peace of mind. Though experiences do vary because of its open-ended nature, I believe it's worth a try. Studies have shown positive impacts in staying sober, and it can be an outlet that is always there in case you need it.
I'll give it a shot.
I'm glad to hear that. Quitting drinking can be tough, but you seem to be on the right path. On a scale of 1 to 10, how confident would you say you are in your abilities?
If I would give it a scale of 1 to 10, I would 7 to 8 maybe. This is the most motivated I have been to change these habits, but it seems almost insurmountable in a way. I've been doing it for so long. I wonder if something will go wrong.
Well, what are some things that you could see going wrong? Any potential speed bumps, if you will?
Well, I think my family gatherings or even family events with my friends, there's also alcohol available. It's almost as though I'm obligated to drink, I could see myself falling to temptation if offered over and over, especially over the course of many family events.
I see. So how could we overcome this? How could we overcome the temptation?
I'm not sure. Maybe I could let everyone know that I'm cutting back on alcohol. The way that temptation isn't there. If they don't ask me if I want to drink, then I won't get one, especially with the pressure of honoring my word.
That sounds like a pretty good approach. May I ask a question in regards to this suggestion?
Of course.
So if someone were to perhaps continuously pressure you while being under the influence, how do you feel like you would respond?
That's a good question. Let me think. I guess I was expecting everyone to respect my decision. In that scenario, that someone were to break the respect, I feel like that would have to remove myself from the situation entirely. I'm sure they would understand when they come around. If something like that were to happen from my family, I'm confident I won't submit.
I'm really happy with what I'm hearing. So removing yourself from the situation that endangers your goal is a lot easier than fighting the temptation, at least from what I am hearing. And relying on your family for strength is a good option because they seem to be the main source of your motivation. That's what's causing this change in you. Does all of this sound about right?
Yeah, that pretty much elaborates my suggestion.
With that being said, is there any other concerns you have?
I guess just a raw desire to drink. I know I don't want to, but I also do. It's also second nature to come home and crack open a cold one. What do you think are any chances of overcoming this urge?
I know it can be difficult, but I would say you're in a good position to avoid such a thing. It's not just your family that would help, but it's also your suggested strategies, such as AA meetings that you were curious about, and of course, limiting your time that you spend drinking with friends or actually cutting out the drinking completely. It seems like you're more prepared this time around and more willing to go into sobriety.
Thank you. I have a question though. What do you think would happen if I relapse? Will there ever be any chance of me saving the situation?
I'm confident you will succeed. Sobriety attempts can go well without any relapses. However, in the chance that you do relapse, there's no need to worry and you can still have hope to succeed because many sobriety attempts and many sobriety follow throughs, they usually have one or two relapses. It's not uncommon for that to happen. But have faith that you can do it without that relapse.
I see. That's frightening, but reassuring at the same time.
I have confidence in your approach. So, if I could summarize your strategies, you're going to inform others about your attempt at sobriety in order to minimize the risk of temptation. You're going to remove yourself from potentially damaging situations, and when you can't do either of those things, you'll rely on your family for strength and willpower. The AA meetings will be another source of support and will potentially aid in your success into sobriety. And now, I guess my final query is when do you plan on starting?
I guess that's the hardest part. It's Friday right now. I would love to start Monday, but what would that say about my commitment? I don't want to lose my family, and I don't want these other issues I get from drinking.
What I'm hearing is, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, it's that this beginning process will start immediately. You don't want to start later because that will potentially spiral. And even though it's not necessarily what you want, it's the best option.
Yes, exactly. I guess to answer your question, I'm starting right now.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. I wish you the best, and we'll schedule a follow-up meeting just to see how you're doing.
Thank you. I appreciate your time.
My pleasure.